Sales leadership when running a small business. Hey, what's up? This is Pete here. In today's video, I want to share something a little bit different with you. Normally I look at sales and marketing from an angle of you actually being the seller. In other words, you being the expert and you being able to make those sales yourself. However, there's a whole other side to sales which we need to talk about as well. And this video, particularly today, comes from popular demand. I've had a number of small business owners over the last few weeks that have said to me, Pete, this is all great, all these sales skills, but I run a team. I've got 4 people, I've got 8 people that work for me. How do I get them to sell? So specifically, that is what today's video is about. So stick around if you do run a team or you aspire to run a team, because what I'm going to share with you is extremely specific if you are a service provider. What I'm not going to be covering today is things like commission, bonus, what incentives should you give your team? Now, don't get me wrong, there is a place for those things. However, do we want to be in a situation where the core reason why our team sell is simply because they have a nice bonus at the end of the month or they get a bit of commission? No. If you want me to do another video on bonus, commission, and incentive, then let me know below. But today's video, as I say, is more about how we're empowering, encouraging, and helping our team to succeed in the sales arena. In other words, being able to sell your products, your services successfully and actually showing up and wanting to do that in the process. And by the way, as you start to check out my other videos here, if you're not subscribed to my channel yet, what are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, comment below. So without any delay, let's get into the first tip when leading your team to sell. It starts with you. Your team are a perfect reflection of you. Most of the time when we're leading a team, we're thinking about them. How do we get them to sell? How do they show up and hit their targets? What incentive do I need to put in place so my team will hit their revenue goals? However, how you show up for you is everything. And the reason why I say this is because a team can only be as effective as their leader. If there's something that you love about your team, then great. That's something that you are bringing to the table and that is rippling through your team. If your team are not performing, it is not a reflection that you are failing as a leader. What it is though is an opportunity to look at yourself and ask those difficult questions. How am I showing up? What's my leadership like? How am I leading myself? Because you can only influence others if you influence yourself first. If you're struggling to get out of bed in the morning because the day is just too much to bear, then that is going to impact how you influence your team when you start work. Now, I'm not saying you need to show up and be this super motivated individual every single day, but your team are looking for inspiration from you. I'll never forget a specific example a few years ago where I was working with a business and the business owner was so frustrated with her team. She said, I don't get it. Why do they not want to sell? It should be their job. I'm paying them bonus. I'm paying them commission. And I sat down with this lady and I said, look, how do you feel about running the business? She said, I'm frustrated. I'm angry. And how do you think your team feel that you're frustrated and that you're angry? She said, well, I know I hide it from them. And I said, no, you can't hide anything from your team. She said, but I should be allowed to be angry. And I said, well, this isn't about you. This was your decision to start a business where you would need a team. So your anger, your frustration, although that you need to deal with those things, of course, emotional intelligence is crucial, but more importantly is how you're showing up for your team. You're in a great position because of the fact, and I'm actually talking to you now watching this video, if you lead a team and you're frustrated that they're not hitting their targets, you are still in a great position because you're creating jobs for the economy. You are taking on a responsibility, and that is exactly what it is, to help people in their careers. But it does start with you. How you lead yourself day to day will be how you lead your team. A team won't necessarily listen to what you say, but they will learn from your behaviors. The second tip for you here is not to push your team to sell. We want to inspire and empower our team to sell. If they're around a great manager and leader who shows up for them, they will start to show up for you. But digging deeper into the more tangible day-to-day leadership, your team really need 3 things from you. Number 1 is coaching, number 2 is leadership, and number 3 is managing. Those 3 areas are the core areas. Most of the time when it comes to business owners, we get so caught up in the paperwork, stuck behind our computer, and we spend 80% of our time working on the admin and the systems and the operations of the business, and only 20% of the time developing and evolving our team. We want to reverse that 80-20. How can I help my team How do I help the individuals within that team to evolve in their career? And that involves, as I've mentioned, coaching, sitting down with each team member at least once a week and asking them questions about how they feel they're evolving in their career, specifically when it comes to the sales element. Ask them their biggest wins of the week. Ask them where they're finding challenges. And instead of being tempted to give them the answer, when they tell you their challenge, actually ask more questions around it so they can start to figure out the answers. By doing this with a small team, you'll be amazed how they start to figure out the answers for themselves. Coaching is such an underrated aspect of leading a team to sell. Now, speaking of leadership, quite literally, your team won't follow what you say, they'll follow what you do and how you lead. This is how you show up. It's who you are as a person. Now, remember, we're asking our team to continually evolve, and the only way they can continually evolve is if we are committed to that evolution within ourselves. And the final one is to manage our team effectively. So when your team tell you a target that they're going to reach, that you actually follow up and you see if they've achieved that target. If they haven't achieved it, it's not a matter of tearing them down with that or saying, oh, that's frustrating. It is a great opportunity for you to ask your team member, going back to coaching, okay, well, what can you do next time to ensure you have a better day? What did you learn by the fact that you didn't hit your target on that day? And then the team member can give you that feedback and they can share where they feel they have areas of improvement. By the way, when they hit their target, you're there for your team. You're saying, great, how did you do it? What did you specifically say or ask your client for that client to want to go ahead with the purchase? By continually getting that feedback from your team get to have these breakthroughs and they get these aha moments, and it allows them to realize that they are evolving in their role. And by the way, in terms of team retention, most people don't quit their job, they quit their manager. So if the manager's stressed and pushing that onto the team and asking for those targets to be hit, then of course that team member isn't going to want to be around for very long. However, if the manager is encouraging and empowering and getting that feedback, and the team member identifies, I'm evolving in this role, I'm learning something new, maybe not every day, but certainly every month, it increases that fulfillment for that team member within the role. And my final tip on sales leadership for this video is to reverse the energy. Small business owners and managers invest all their time chasing their team. Well, when we reverse the energy, it should be our team coming to us, specifically when it comes to the sales element of the business. Let me explain. You should never feel like you are chasing your team. Instead, what you want to be doing is letting your team know, and you can do this very simply by your team WhatsApping you each morning, letting you know what their commitment is for the day. What sales are they going to deliver today? How many leads or appointments are they going to book? And what's their plan to achieve that result? It's legitimately a 30-second message that they can send you. If you're in the business physically with them, then my recommendation, instead of having a morning meeting where you all sit around and say, okay, team, we're going to make loads of money today, we're going to help our clients, instead say to your team, right, no more morning meetings. Instead, within 20 to 30 minutes of you starting your shift, I would like you to come to my office, sit down with me, and you let me know your plan to succeed in the business today. Tell me your plan. What's your sales target? Tell me how many bookings you're going to make today, and then tell me how you're going to deliver on the expectation. Now, this might sound counterintuitive because surely you're the one leading the business, but actually leadership isn't about telling your team what your expectations are. Although part of it is, most importantly, it's about bringing out the greatness that's already within your team members. So what you can do is you can listen to their commitments, and when they vocalize, okay, I will generate £500 in revenue today, or I'll do £1,000 in revenue today. You can simply feed back and say, great, can you tell me where that revenue is coming from? Where the sales going to happen? And they can say, well, I've got 6 appointments today. These 2 clients I've been working on a little while. This one particularly is ready to take the next step. Now, the great thing is here is that as your team member vocalizes what their commitment is, it means that they are now becoming more confident. The main issue that I've seen over the years of working with hundreds, and I mean this, hundreds and hundreds of businesses and business owners, sales managers, is I've observed the manager telling the team member what their expectations are. But then the team member walks away and they're still just as disempowered as they were the previous day or the previous month or even year. You get the idea. Let me know your comments below. Let me know how you're leading your teams, any challenges you're having in leading your team, or if you're thinking about taking on a team, you want to know how to get started, let me know below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.